First dates on Tinder can be complicated, but we know how to make them fun. Hey, welcome to Online for Love, your #1 resource for dating by the numbers. Today we're going to be going over an online dating app called Tinder, but more specifically we're going to be talking about some great first date ideas that you can utilize when talking to your Tinder matches. Before I jump into that though, I do need to tell you guys about our Tinder 101 Hub. Our Tinder 101 Hub consists of 70 plus articles that give you the information needed in order to master Tinder. And another indispensable necessity is our Tinder opening line formula. Using the Tinder opening line formula, we've discovered that users have received 3 times the response rate that they had before. You can find these necessities in the links in the bio down below, along with our online dating app quiz and more. So in order to make this video a bit easier to comprehend, I've broken it down into 2 different sections. And the first section is going to be tips that you can use to prep for the first date. And the second section are different date ideas that you can utilize. So without further ado, let's jump into number 1 on the list, which is tips to prep for your first date. The first tip I have for you is to know how to choose the right place. Now, choosing the right place is going to be vital because you want it to be something that she's interested in actually going and doing. Now, if you do give a suggestion and you find that she's not actually that interested, she's giving signs that she's not, absolutely suggest another place or ask her a place that she might be interested in going to instead. The second tip I have for you is to time your asking out on a date to make sure that it actually results in a yes. Do you ever wonder if it's too soon to ask the question or even too late? Well, it's really vital in finding that sweet spot in order to ask a girl out on a date on Tinder. You don't want to ask too early because it's going to be very creepy for you to do so, and you don't want to ask too late as the anticipation for going on a date with that person might be lost on them. A great tip is that if you find that this conversation is going very smoothly, to absolutely suggest that you continue the conversation while going on a date, maybe a coffee date or a walk in the park, something along the lines of that. And the next tip I have for you is that once you do actually secure a date, to make sure that you're getting there on time. Nobody likes a person who shows up late on the first date. It's not a good look on you. You want to make sure that no matter where your date is, you're leaving about 15 minutes early in case there's any traffic or anything along the lines of that. I'm about to jump into the next tip on this list, but before I jump into that, I did want to ask you guys to be sure you are hitting like and subscribe. Seriously, it really does help push our videos out so that more users can utilize this information from us here at Online for Love. We super duper appreciate it. The next dating tip I have for you is to make sure you don't show off too much. Now, this can be in you showing some things that you own, like maybe you're wearing a super expensive suit, maybe a very fancy watch, or you're driving an insane sports car. These are things that are going to be a bit too much for first dates. You also want to make sure that you're not spending too much money on that first date either, as it can feel like a lot of pressure for her when she does actually show up to the date, because she might feel like she owes you something, but she absolutely doesn't. It's just going to give a lot of bad vibes if you do that. The next tip I have for you is to look nice, but keep it casual. Like I said in the previous tip, you don't want to be wearing these expensive suits. You want to wear something that is casual, something that you look great in, something that you feel great in, but also something that you feel comfortable in. Wearing something like a button up like this, or something where you're wearing jeans, something where you look sleek, but relaxed. The next tip I have for you is to make sure you smell nice. Obviously, you should be showered and should be groomed, but if you want to take it the next step above and you want to wear some cologne, you should absolutely do that. Just be careful you don't spray too much on you. The key here is to be subtle when it comes to cologne. The next tip I have for you is to be fun and be relaxed. You don't want to be tensed up on this date, and I know that's easier said than done for a lot of people, but you want to make sure that you're ensuring that she's having a good time. Ask her questions about her, show that you're really interested in her, and pay attention to her body language. Make sure that if she seems uncomfortable, that you try and do something to correct it. Just don't make it too obvious or direct that you're trying to do that. And the last tip I have for you when it comes to prepping for the date is to make sure you have an exit strategy. Now, just because you vibed on Tinder doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to vibe in real life. Maybe you went out on a date with this person and they were especially rude to a waiter that you talked to, or your personalities simply just clash. You're looking for something else. But so you want to make sure that you do actually have an exit strategy, no matter how much you think you're going to vibe with this person. So this is going to move me onto the top 10 Tinder date ideas, but before I jump into that, I did want to ask you guys to be sure you are checking out our Tinder 101 Hub. Our Tinder 101 Hub consists of 70 plus articles that give you the information needed in order to master Tinder. These articles will spruce up your profile, which will result in more matches and more dates. So this is moving on to the second section of my video, which is the top 10 Tinder date ideas that we have for you today. And the first one is to go to a local event. It's always a good idea to do some research on things that are happening in your city. Maybe there's some festival that's going on or a charity event or things along the lines of that you could absolutely utilize for a first date. Not only is it going to be a great first date idea, but it's going to be something that you can have a conversation with while you're there with your date. Ultimately, this could be a new experience for the both of you. Maybe you're trying new food or you're doing a completely different volunteering work that you've never done before, and it'll be an absolutely bonding moment for the two of you. The next date idea is to go to a museum or an exhibition. So it's always a good idea to ask your date if they like museums, because they're not for everybody. But if they do like museums, it would be a great choice for you to go to. There's also the option of going to an art exhibition as well, as exhibitions usually change every few weeks. So it's going to be something that's probably a new experience for the both of you. Now, after your art exhibition or museum visit, I do highly recommend that you go to a coffee shop or something similar so that you can sit down and talk to your date about your experience. The next date idea I have for you is to simply take a nice walk. If you have a nice park or a garden nearby that is populated, absolutely ask her if she would like to visit you there. Make sure you don't suggest a place though that is completely empty and void of people, as this is a huge red flag for most girls and it will make you seem very creepy. The advantages of this type of date is that they're cheap and also very flexible. You can arrive and leave whenever you guys want. So the next date idea we have for you is to go see a play or a movie. Now keep in mind that plays and movies are typically hours long, so you're going to have to prep to be hanging out with this person for hours if you do plan to go down this route. I do highly suggest that you plan a dinner afterwards as well, so that you can actually talk to each other after the event to give your opinions on what you just witnessed. Keep in mind, most movies and plays don't allow you to talk during the performance, so if you find yourself being awkward in silent situations like this, then maybe this isn't going to be the best option for you. Of course, talking is something you should be good at already, because you've already brought this person out on a date by talking to them on Tinder. However, if you find that you do have a hard time getting somebody's attention on Tinder from the messages, no worries, you should definitely just check out our Tinder opening line formula. Our secret Tinder opening line formula is an indispensable necessity for any guy utilizing Tinder, and has resulted in a 3 times response rate for users who have utilized the formula versus when they didn't use the formula. So if you'd like to have better conversations and therefore more dates, you should definitely check out our secret Tinder opening line formula. So the next dating idea we have for you is to go out for ice cream. There is almost nobody on this planet who doesn't like ice cream. Ice cream is enjoyed by everybody, and especially if it's a cute little independent place, and it even has places for you to sit and eat your ice cream so you can have a conversation with this person. It's just going to be a great date idea. Now keep in mind that I'm talking about like an independent ice cream place. I'm not talking about like getting Frosties at Wendy's or McFlurry at McDonald's. That's going to seem like way too cheap of a date, and it's not going to be a good look on you. Another great date idea is to take her to your favorite food place. Maybe you have a little local foodery area that you really enjoy, or a tiny independent restaurant that you really like. You should absolutely take her there if it's a tiny independent place that you thoroughly enjoy. This type of date can definitely give a chill vibe, and it can make it seem very intimate. However, you want to make sure of a couple things, that you're not bringing her to a bar that might be too loud in order for you to have a conversation with. And you also don't want to bring her to a place that is overly expensive either, as this can be very overwhelming. The next dating tip I have for you is to just relax and hang out in a park. Now, not everybody is all about doing physical activities. Maybe you just want to meet with them in a park and have a little picnic. You can even go to a grocery store with your date and pick out some snacks and set up your picnic at the actual park, as it would be a great, cute idea for you guys to utilize as a date. So this is going to move me on to the next one on my list. But before I jump into that, I did want to ask you guys one last time to be sure you are hitting like and subscribe. Seriously, it really does help push our videos out so that more users can utilize this information from us here at Online for Love. We super duper appreciate it. So the next date idea I have on my list is to do a competitive activity. Now, if you're the type of guy who doesn't like to just sit and talk and do nothing else, and you like to do stuff with a more physical aspect to it, then doing a competitive activity is going to be a great idea. And in a situation where she actually kicks your butt at everything, you can absolutely make it more playful and say that you were just letting her win because it was a first date. So one idea of this is to go bowling. It's something that most people have already done before, and it's easy rules, and it's not that expensive either. Another idea is to go play darts at a bar. This is a great environment too, as you can also order alcoholic drinks if you guys are into that. Similarly, you could also play pool at a nice bar too, and if you are very skilled at this game, it could be something you could use to impress her. And there's also the option of miniature golf, as it's not a very demanding sport, and it does have a determined beginning and ends too, so it can be a very enjoyable walkthrough as you can look through the scenery of the miniature golf as well. Another date idea is to simply just grab some coffee in a nice place. If you find a nice place that's an independent area and has some good views, or maybe a great interior in the cafe, this is going to be a great option for you to utilize, as it is a very relaxed environment and it's something where you can absolutely just sit one-on-one and talk with the person. I do suggest researching some great coffee shops in your area, as you don't want to just go to a random coffee shop that might not actually be that great. And the last dating idea I have for you is to simply go to a bar. Now, this can be a great environment, especially if you're somebody who gets nervous. Having a drink to help relax you is something that can really make a date go well. With that being said though, you want to make sure that you're not depending on the drink, you're not drinking too much, and that your partner isn't drinking too much. It shouldn't be about the alcohol whatsoever. It should simply just be about you and your date and having a good time. Now, of course, you're watching this video, so I'm assuming that you have a great profile, but do you have the best profile you possibly could? Well, one way to figure that out is by checking out our Tinder 101 Hub. Our Tinder 101 Hub consists of 70 plus articles that give you the information needed in order to master Tinder. And another indispensable necessity is our Tinder opening line formula. Using the Tinder opening line formula, we've discovered that users have received 3 times the response rate that they had before. You can find those necessities in the links in the bio down below, along with our online dating app quiz and more. If you guys wanted to check out some more content from us, be sure to check out the videos popping up on my left and right here. And I did want to ask you guys one more time to be sure you are hitting like and subscribe. Seriously, we super duper appreciate it. I'll catch you guys here next time on Online for Love. See ya.